Hey music friends, this is David Vasque. I'm a music composer for games, and today we're gonna be doing something different. We are going to rank all the Monster Hunter Village themes. Everybody loves Monster Hunter Village themes, and check this out. I've got all the themes here lined up. We are going to listen to a bunch of cool music, and we'll get to share our memories and our opinions on these village themes from these Monster Hunter games that we love, which is what this channel is all about, after all, sharing the music from the games that we love. And you will get to hear me talk about this music from the perspective of a professional music composer for games, which is what I do. That's literally what I do all day, every day. First off, we have Astera, which is, of course, from Monster Hunter World. It's the first city, the first town from Monster Hunter World. So let's listen to it a little bit. Yeah. So right off the bat, what I love about this intro, it kind of reminds me of that morning kind of waking up motif from Rossini. Yeah, so it has that kind of morning, kind of dawn theme to it, which is very fitting for Monster Hunter World because it's the new world, it's the dawn of a new age, the dawn of a new world. So this is very on point. Yeah, so this part here I think really has the DNA of Monster Hunter music. Yeah, so right about here you see them transition into this less melodic phase. This is more like Monster Hunter World, it's more like the art direction that they took in this game. Alright, so Astera, to me, let's give it a B. Let's give it a B. Yeah, so Astera is gonna get a B. It definitely has that Monster Hunter DNA in the music with that melodic part at the beginning, which is more quirky. It feels more like Monster Hunter to me, that part, and then it transitions into a bit more serious orchestration part. For my taste personally, I prefer the kind of old approach to Monster Hunter music, which doesn't take itself too seriously and it's more laid back, more cartoony and quirky. Alright, so moving on, we have now Bherna Village from Monster Hunter Generations. So let's listen to it. Alright, so it kind of has a similar vibe to the beginning of the Astera one too, with that kind of waking up morning motif. Look at the woodwinds. That's called a trill on the woodwinds when they keep alternating two notes fast like this. This for some reason has kind of a connotation of morning, of waking up. You see that in a lot of these songs that have this kind of meaning. So good. So instrumentation wise, you can hear that it's very different already from the Astera one. This is a more homely feel. The instrumentation is much smaller. It's not like a full orchestra. There's just a violin, some percussion, guitars, which is very folk related, and it feels very homely. It's a very singable theme as well. Yeah, so you can hear notes that are very close to each other. They feel like you can sing them because they're so close and so natural, almost feels like the natural way people talk. Very, very singable. Yeah, and you can hear very obvious resolutions too. In music, resolution means that you have chords that feel like you're at home, feel like you're relaxed, that you're at peace, you're happy, and there are chords that feel like there's tension, there's danger. So resolution means that you go off into those chords where there's tension, and then you go back home, and that gives, you know, a sensation of release of tension, a sensation of relaxation, which is very on point. It's very on theme here for a village, because you're going off hunting those monsters and then you're coming back home. So these obvious resolutions really make you feel relaxed, make you feel like you're at home. Like, check this out, this part here, for example. Bum, bum, that bum, bum, bum. That's tension, tension, and home. This chord feels like it's meant to be, feels like it's happy, like you're at home. Great. So yeah, Bherna Village, I'm gonna give it an A, because it's a very, very well constructed melody. It feels like home, it feels like a village should feel. It feels welcoming, it feels like you're at home. It's a very singable melody. Okay, so moving on, we have Cathar from Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. It was not the main village for Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, it was one of the side kind of villages. So let's check it out. Yeah, so again, you can hear the instrumentation is more on the folk side. There's not too much of an orchestra here. Another interesting thing about this is that this song is in triple meter, which in music, if it's triple meter, it means that the bars of the rhythm of the music is counted on threes, like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And this triple meter is very related to dance and to movement. A waltz, for example, is triple meter too. So it's a village swaying in the wind. It's the whole point of this village is the name of the track. So this triple meter gives this kind of swaying vibe to it, which I think is very nice. And one other thing, remember on Bherna Village when I was talking about resolutions and how it feels like home, it feels relaxing? This, in the game, it's a distant village. You're not supposed to feel so at home here, so you can tell it definitely feels a bit exotic, a bit outworldish. So check this chord over here. This here. That's a diminished chord, which is pretty much the most dissonant, unpleasant chord you can possibly have in music. So they put these things in to remind you that you're not home. This is kind of a strange place, a faraway place. And while they do that, they still give you that kind of relaxing vibe. So it's kind of an interesting contrast. Okay, so Cathar, I'm gonna give it. Let's see. I'm gonna give it an S. I think Cathar is a great example of an amazing Monster Hunter Village themes. It has all the characteristics that I like on Village themes. It's very chill. It's very relaxing, and just the vibe, the kind of exotic, otherworldly vibe that they created with those kind of weird, dissonant chords. I think it's very fitting for Cathar, and this is just a theme that I think represents what is meant for very well, and it's very pleasant to listen to as well. So moving on, now we have Cheeko Sands. Okay, another one from Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. It's another one of the side villages of Monster Hunter 4. So let's give it a listen. The instrumentation sounds very similar to the Cathar one because, of course, it's from the same game. it's a bit more lighthearted. You can hear a lot of chromatic percussion on this. Chromatic percussion, it's percussion that you hit it and it's actually a note, the sound of a musical note. It's not just like a snare sound, which is just a percussion sound. That kind of instrument is very reminiscent of kind of tribal, kind of primitive setting. And the felines, they have this kind of primitive aspect to them. They're kind of this tribal-like beings. And it feels kind of similar to Cathar in instrumentation and in the energy level, because it's more relaxing. But at the same time, I think Cathar represents the village it was made for a little better. And Cheeko Sands doesn't stick a lot with me, so I guess I'm gonna give it a C. This track definitely fulfills its role of a secondary village theme. It doesn't stick to me very much, so I'll give it a C. But it doesn't mean that it's a bad song or it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. Okay? Alright, so next up we have Harth. Okay, so another Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate track. We had a bunch of Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate in a row, so let's give it a listen. Yeah, so the first thing you notice, it has a lot of heavy percussion, which goes along very well with the theme of this village, which is a mining theme. And the inhabitants of this village are very kind of brute, kind of minor smiths kind of guys. And also the pizzicato strings, check this out. This sound, they're using violins and cellos with pizzicato, which means that the player plucks the string with their finger, and this gives a more percussive, even more percussive aspect to the song, which reinforces all these aspects of mining and the kind of bruteness that I mentioned. Again, a big focus on percussion. So, Harth, let's see. I'm gonna give Harth a B. It is very similar to Cheeko Sands too, in the sense that it's kind of a secondary village. It's not meant to draw too much attention to itself and be kind of a mind-blowing melody. But I think it kind of represents Harth a little bit better. It evokes the feelings and sensations of Harth a little bit better than Cheeko Sands does for Cheeko Sands. So let's give it a B. Okay, we have Kokoto Village now, which is the village theme for the first village ever, the first Monster Hunter game ever. Let's hear it. Kokoto Village, I think, is probably the most unique of the Monster Hunter Village tracks, because pretty much all the other village tracks, they're lighthearted, they're kind of happy. This Kokoto Village theme, you can feel the sadness, you can feel the melancholy on here, which is very on point for the game, because this was the first game on the series. So if you're conceptualizing music for a game for the first time, a game that's called Monster Hunter, and the concept of the game is that there's these giant monsters outside and you're making music for the village of this game, it's gonna be kind of depressing, right? Because there's monsters outside wanting to eat you, so you can definitely feel the sadness here. It feels a bit more oppressive. Yeah. Nice. Very, very lonely. Feels very lonely. You see the whole ensemble kind of dies out, and just the guitar and the flute stay. They're kind of lonely. That's a lonely flute, dude. You can feel it. Okay, so Kokoto Village, I'm gonna give it an A. I think it's kind of equivalent to Bherna Village in a way because it has very singable melodies. It's not comfortable at all. It's not, I mean, it feels kind of homely, but it feels also lonely and kind of oppressive, which definitely sets it apart from the others. It definitely feels special. It's a great track to listen to, so I'm gonna give it an A. The next track we have is Moga Village from Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. It was my first Monster Hunter game ever. I have a lot of nostalgia for this one, so let's listen to Moga Village. So again, you can see that approach that I mentioned on Cheeko Sands, where they used a lot of percussion, chromatic percussion, that gives kind of a primitive, kind of tribal vibe to the track, which is very fitting for Moga Village because that is definitely a primitive looking village. I mean, look at it. And check this out, I love this musical symbolism. This is the kind of thing that a lot of people miss, but composers love doing this. I love doing this. There's a shaker sound on the right side, kind of shh, a sound that sounds very similar to the ocean, which is very related to Moga Village because it is in the ocean after all, and Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate has a lot to do with water. Here. Nice. So nice, this melody is so nice, so relaxing. And I love how the music keeps transitioning over to new parts. It never repeats anything, it keeps flowing like a free-flowing stream of music. Kind of like water, which is a big theme of this game, of course. And the bass lines on this song are very, very nice bass. Check this out. Did you hear that? Do 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 do. Okay, so Moga Village, I'm gonna go ahead with very little hesitation. I'm gonna put it at S. It has everything I like about a Monster Hunter Village theme. It's very chill, very relaxing. It keeps flowing. It symbolizes and represents very well the village that it's made for. And this is definitely a village theme that has stuck with me over the years. So S tier for Moga Village. Okay, so now we have Pokke Village theme, which is from Monster Hunter Freedom. Let's hear it. Again, very small instrumentation, very folk, just a guitar and some percussion. Again, very singable melody, very close together notes, very memorable. And very emotional too. I think this Pokke Village track, it combines together the best qualities of like Bherna Village theme and Kokoto Village, because Kokoto Village was super, you guys remember, it was super oppressive, kind of sad and kind of tense in some parts. This definitely feels more relaxing, more homely, but there's definitely a little bit of melancholy here, guys. Can you feel it? There's definitely a bittersweet kind of feeling here. It's like the song is saying, dude, being a hunter is hard. That's what this song is about. Being a hunter is tough, dude. So, for Pokke Village, I'm gonna give it an S. I think most of you guys already anticipated this. I think Pokke Village has the best qualities of Bherna Village. It has the memorable, singable melodies. So yeah, Pokke Village gets the S rank, S tier. So moving on, now we have Seliana theme. Okay, I know this is a fan favorite. So this is from Iceborne, by the way, Monster Hunter World Iceborne. So let's go. So right off the bat, there's a bit of drama here, kind of a low energy, a bit melancholic vibe here with the piano. The high-pitched piano to me sounds kind of cold because the high-pitched sound kind of sounds like the tinky ice sounds. You hear in a lot of ice-themed songs in video games, they use a lot of tinkly, sparkly sounds like high-pitched piano or a glockenspiel or something like that. So this has something, this is very singable. It uses this kind of question and answer approach to melody. So check this out. The melody goes. This note here, this chord, is a bit, not too much, but a bit unsettling. There's a bit of tension in it. The melody kind of asks a question, it leaves like in the open with a bit of tension, and then it resolves going back with the answer. That's why it makes it very singable, because it kind of mimics human speech. That's very nice. Again, with the drama on this part, it's a bit more dramatic, a bit more sad, melancholic. Okay, so Seliana, I'm gonna give it an A. I know this will be an S tier for a lot of people. I think it has the good qualities of Pokke Village, but to me Pokke Village and Cathar and Moga Village, they hit the spot a little better with the intensity. Seliana feels a bit too dramatic, a bit too intense. So Seliana is amazing, it gets an A tier. So moving on, now we have Val Habar from Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate again. So let's go. This one right off the bat feels much more orchestral than the other ones. You can tell with the thick strings accompanying the rhythm. Yeah, this is another very unique track in the sense that it definitely, to me at least, doesn't feel like home. They're using something here called a modulation, with in simple terms kind of means that you're using a chord that you're not supposed to use in that sequence of chords. So by doing that you can change the way a sequence of chords feels. So this sequence that they're using, if they were going to go by the book, it was going to sound like this. So this last chord here is the one they changed. This is the normal one. It's a minor chord, so it feels kind of sad. Now I'm gonna show what they did there, the modulation, the substitution that they did with this final chord. Check this out. See how it feels much more triumphant? That gives this track a very victorious vibe. Very prominent melodies. And very festive too, very light-hearted. Absolutely, I love this one. I think it's very unique. So I'm gonna go ahead and give Val Habar an S tier again. I feel like I'm giving away too many S tiers, but I can't help it. I think Val Habar encapsulates and represents so well what the town of Val Habar is, which is a town in the middle of the desert. They're not just living in this area, they're like conquering this area. So the last one we have, it's Yukumo. Let's hear it. Feels very Japanese. A lot of these Monster Hunter tracks, they love to use ethnic and kind of world instruments. This feels like unapologetically Japanese. The small touches, the choice of instrumentation, the lead melody seems like it's shakuhachi with this, which is a Japanese flute, and you see the little details on the side, like dun dun dun. You see on the right side, on the right speaker, you can hear this stringed Asian instrument, which might be either a shamisen or a koto. It's hard to tell the difference here. Bang, bang, bang. Did you hear? Very nice, very relaxing. So here they do something very interesting with the rhythm. Remember back in the beginning of the video when I told you that Cathar theme, it's in triple meter. So here in Yukumo Village, they use like a 9 meter, which means that the pattern of the rhythm of the music repeats in 9 beats, which is very, 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 very uncommon. And it accentuates the feeling of an exotic, far away, and kind of otherworldly land. Let's check this out, this 9 meter. So I'm gonna give Yukumo Village an A, or no, I'm gonna give it a B, which might upset a few people. I know a lot of people like this theme, and I love it as well. I think it's equivalent to Bherna Village in many aspects. It has very nice melody that, you know, it sticks in your head and you can sing along to. But that 9-beat meter kind of throws me off a little bit, and I know why the composer did that. It's to create the sensation of something exotic, and it also adds tension to, in a way. So yeah, Yukumo gets a B, and this is how my Monster Hunter Village theme tier list ended up looking. If you're a Monster Hunter fan, let me know in the comments what your tier list would look like. What are your favorite Monster Hunter Village themes? What are your least favorite? And I will leave you with my playlist of Monster Hunter Village covers over here for you to click it. I think you will enjoy that if you watch this whole video. There's a bunch of chill Monster Hunter covers in there, so make sure to check that out, and I'll see you there.